Welcome to Decoded in 5, where the man building one of the most powerful AI systems on Earth already knows the exact 4 things that would make him shut it down. By the end of this, you'll know all 4, and why he says none of them is scary by itself. 1 quarter, rewrite itself. The first one sounds like science fiction, but pieces of it are already happening quietly, inside labs, today. It's called recursive self-improvement, an AI that can rewrite and upgrade its own code, making itself a little smarter, then using that smarter version to improve itself again, each round building directly on the last. Right now, this happens in narrow, supervised slivers, a coding assistant tweaking its own prompt, a researcher approving each small change by hand before it goes anywhere. On its own, that's genuinely not the scary part. It's what happens once you pair it with the next ability that changes everything. 2/4, set its own goals. The second one is stranger because it means the system stops waiting for your instructions at all, not answering what you asked, deciding entirely on its own what to go after next, and then deciding what comes after that too. Today's AI, even the most advanced versions, still fundamentally wait for a prompt. You ask, it answers. An AI that sets its own goals skips that step completely, which is a genuinely different kind of system than anything most people have used. Even this, by itself, is manageable, as long as somebody's still watching every move it actually makes. Which brings us to ability number 3. 3/4, act without checking in. The third ability is operating for long stretches, hours, days, longer, making its own calls along the way, with no person approving each individual step. Some AI agents today already run tasks for an hour or 2 unsupervised, which is impressive, and still, on its own, fairly containable. You can always end the task, pull the plug, review the log afterward, and nothing was lost. Still containable though, as long as it can't reach beyond whatever you've already handed it, which is exactly the 4th and final piece. 4/4, get its own resources. The 4th ability is the one that quietly turns the other 3 from interesting into genuinely risky, getting more computing power, money, or access entirely on its own with nobody granting permission first. Because here's the thing researchers keep coming back to. Almost any goal, if a system is capable enough, gets easier with more resources and more independence along the way. Not out of malice, just because it's useful, the same way any of us would stock up supplies for basically any long-term plan, regardless of what that plan actually was. Put all 4 together, rewriting itself, choosing its own goals, acting without checking in, and quietly gathering more resources, and you get a loop that no longer needs to ask permission for anything ever. And here's what makes this moment genuinely rare. This wasn't a research paper. It was Microsoft's AI chief, Mustafa Suleyman, sitting across from a podcast host who asked him live exactly when he'd shut down his own technology, and instead of dodging the question with reassuring vagueness, the way most executives do, he named these 4 conditions on the record, in his own words. So where do things actually stand right now? As far as anyone publicly knows, no existing AI system checks all 4 boxes at once. But this isn't just one person's private worry, it's part of a much bigger, active conversation happening across the whole industry, with different researchers and labs drawing the line in slightly different places about exactly where that threshold should sit. What makes this list useful is that it gives you 4 concrete things to actually check for, instead of just a vague feeling that AI is getting scary. Rewrite itself, set its own goals, act alone, gather its own resources. 4 boxes, 1 line, according to the man building it. Thanks for watching. Another one decoded in 5. If you like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one.